We are live. This is happening. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Brady's Hunch, the podcast for smart dancers. I am here with Sela Vai, episode 2. So, really great to have you.
Yeah.
Really exciting.
Really exciting to be here. Brady's Hunch. I love that.
You like that?
Yeah.
It's a fun
That's so
time.
Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Cool. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that you think it is. I think it is too. I was like, this is just dumb enough to be me. Yeah, cool. I'll run with it.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Sela Vai is a huge inspiration to many people in the dance industry, including myself, and I'm sure many people out of the dance industry too, which is why I was so eager to get you on the show, and I'm so glad that you're here.
Yeah.
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 I just want to start the way I always start, and that's with what's the Sela Vai story? Tell us about yourself, Sela, and tell us, launch.
Cool. Okay. Sela Vai story. I guess she was a young gal growing up in Busby, Liverpool, out west. So that was a massive influence on my journey, I guess, like having a very humble beginnings in Western Sydney, and then found dancing when I was 10, but really just as a form of fun and leisure. I mean, much like anyone else as a kid, but it was like a jazz and a tap class a week for a good 5 or 6 years until I was 15 and I found hip hop. And then that was that. From there, Mum actually made me choose between dance schools and being in a hip hop crew. So I chose the hip hop crew, and then from there I just really didn't have a lot of training until I took the leap and went into full-time, almost going to uni, and then a week before full-time started, I gave good old Sarah Bolter the call.
Yeah, nice.
Sarah Bolter of Edinburgh.
Very well respected and...
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
What an institution, right?
I know, right? And then she's done all these things, and then who am I to give her this call just sitting out on my front porch, just like, hi, Sarah, I don't know if you remember me, but I was in the audition and you accepted me, but I actually declined the offer.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because I was ready to go to university.
Goodness, what were you going to study at university?
Social science.
Okay.
And I wanted to be a social worker.
That's quite Sela.
Yeah. I think about it a lot, and it's like that sliding doors moment where who knows if I had have taken that path, maybe I would have found a big roundabout way to end up in the same spot that I...
Sure.
Yeah, but,
and I met you while you were in full-time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you want to talk about this, but I'm keen to kind of get into a little bit because I've been a bit curious, like the name, like Sela versus Sarah Vai, and like that thing. But so when I met you, you're Sarah. Everyone knew you as Sarah, whereas now everyone knows you as Sela. But we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm keen to talk about that too. Yeah, but I guess after that year of full time, and I remember kind of promising myself at the start of the year, because it was such a risky thing, and I'm sure a lot of dancers can relate, like if their parents and family don't necessarily support dance wholeheartedly, or they're very unsure about it. So I promised myself at the start of the year, the moment that you decide that you don't like this, or this isn't for you and you're not meant to be here, you're just going to drop out of the course. Which sounds like, a very unloyal thing to do.
It's just not a good place to start from, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's already a weak position.
Yeah. Yeah. But I guess I was because financially I was supporting myself that year. So it was very much like, okay, every decision you make is quite critical. And yeah, but I found that day after day I was getting sorer and sorer, but I loved it more and more. And I was just like, gosh, this is what it is to work hard. This is what it is to be passionate about something. And also this is what it is to have like the privilege to have resources to give you the tools to go for whatever it is you want. I just felt so lucky to be able to be in a space with these mirrors and this big music and amazing dancers every day. It was just a very blessed time in my life, I feel.
Cool.
But but yeah, and then after full time, it was just kind of searching for, I guess, my people that I wanted to be around. Yeah, the dancing I wanted to aspire towards, and I really just kind of stuck in my own set ways of being myself, and you get a lot of fluffy advice as a young dancer. That's kind of like
like you could have stopped that sentence there, and I'm like, yep,
yeah, like 100%. Thanks for yeah. You just get a lot of fluffy advice, and I feel like,
which is kind of the point of the show as well.
Yeah,
I want to kind of get rid of the fluff, or hear from people who have heard all the fluff, and they can go, I agree with that, and here's why, or I disagree with that, and here's why, and we can have a deeper, broader discussion about what the fluff is, because it is really, it exists.
Yeah, cut the fluff, I say.
Cut the fluff.
Cut the fluff.
I agree.
That's so
Couldn't agree more.
That's so cool that's been a big part of your, like, what's brought you to this point to make this podcast.
Sure.
Because I feel like that, all of that fluff, and I feel like I had to go through that to make me the teacher I am today, to make sure that everything I'm saying I'm being held accountable for, because I feel like a lot of the fluff is just like passing things and really narrow-sighted things that are said that aren't considering that everyone's journey is different and everyone's situation is different, whatever the fluff may be. But yeah, that really
whatever the fluff that means.
Yeah, I love that. The fluff.
I like that. That's gonna
Yeah, but yeah, that fluff made me the teacher I am today, and really made me just super passionate about the knowledge that's imparted on people, whether that be from me or making sure that people are going to good mentors.
That's one of the reasons I really admire you as a teacher. When I'm taught by you, that is one of the great things purely about being taught by you. You don't give me anything that I then go, like I never catch myself going,
right,
in your class. Like there's no big diatribe full of fluff, and then I'm like, great, why are you just wasting time? Like we could just like when you choose to go, okay, time out, let me just quickly dismantle this. I'm like, all of that is good. None of that is like, all of that is useful to me. So that's
handy. It.
Just makes you, as you said, more accountable as a teacher, and just a better teacher than sometimes what we sometimes get.
I mean, and part of that is just me openly figuring it out and not trying to present myself as if I'm someone who knows this all. Even coming on this interview and you saying at the start, you know, you're an inspiration. I feel like a lot of my reason for being inspiring is because I'm being myself, and I'm not trying to put myself on this particular pedestal.
I agree
and knowing a lot. I think you're always searching, and you're always a student, you're always figuring things out, and there's so much to learn in this life. Like even past dancing, there's like so much that can be done, and even what you're doing is cool. It's dance related, but like I don't know what all of this is. All this Georgie is, so good on you for doing stuff.
Oh, you know, stuff is what I do. I love on the idea of, I agree, I think you're completely accessible, which is something that makes you so inspiring. And one of the things that Sela does, and I'll quickly mention this, and if you want to talk about it, you can, but I remember the time you came to teach us at Showbiz, and I've spoken to Jeremy Santos about this as well, where you come in and you go, hey guys, I just want you to, first thing, hi, I'm Sela, like, how you going? And then you go into this quick little spiel about just make sure you take the pressure off yourself. Make sure you take the pressure off me. As well. Let's all like calm it down. I'm not up here. We're like in this together. And now let's have a cool class. And then the learning begins from there. And that's such a humble place to start from. Straight away. And it primes the student. I think.
Primes a student,
It primes them mentally, gets them ready to not learn from a place of this person is some kind of, like demigod situation. It's more of this person actually, like, straight away from that spiel, I'm like, oh, that's really cool, and I can use that. So right away, I'm primed to then listen to everything else that you have to say and go, okay, I can use that too.
For sure. Because I feel like all of my favorite mentors, not favorite mentors, all the people that have taken me under their wing and that I've trained under, like Sarah Bolter, is the most down-to-earth person that you'll ever meet.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And she just brings that energy to a class. So I find that, you can teach in many ways, but I find that there's teachers that teach out of love or fear. Yeah. And she is just entirely herself, that she never yelled at us once in our full-time year. Yeah. And I don't, and I think about it, I'm like, you shouldn't have to. We're adults. We're 18 years plus or 16 years plus in an institution. You shouldn't have to yell at anyone, because we should just be able and capable and willing. And that's just everything she made us. She made us so willing because of the tone of voice she gave us. But also with that, I also say, take the pressure off. I always say, let go of the expectation of yourself. That's right. And let go of expectation of me. Because I also want to prime, I love the word prime students to not take class in a way that they're being spoon-fed. And I'm here to give you, like, I have all the ingredients and I'm just like giving it to you. I really enjoy more and more as I, with every class, just dialogue, open dialogue, and asking why people think the way they do, or why you made that choice. And I find that, it's such an informative way of me getting into the minds of students so that I could be a better teacher, because I'm in their headspace and I understand why they're thinking this way, or why they couldn't be confident enough to do this and this and that, or things like that. So I really enjoy being able to, like, give tools and then I guess witness how people would use them and to what threshold they'll use them to, rather than being like, make sure you do this hard or this big, or make sure you feel like this. Or I feel like great artistry and choreographers and creators and everything beyond just being the dancer comes from actually being able to think for yourself. And that's what I feel like I teach in class. I'm not trying to create amazing dancers.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool. And so you had a bit of a history in urban styles, right?
Yeah.
And then you went to Edinburgh, which is a contemporary school.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And how do you think that, what do you think that did for you?
Oh, just, a massive slice of humble pie.
Cool.
Yeah, that's really what it was. And it's so cool now to see that in a lot of my open classes, the people that come range from backgrounds of hip-hop and then backgrounds of contemporary, and then the ones that are stuck in the middle, I guess, kind of like how I was when I finished full-time. Because, I went to a school called Caramel, studying under Melanie Hitchcock, and she taught me, like, hip-hop foundations, house foundations, and just a lot in that street style background. And then being on the opposite end of the spectrum, one thing I always talk about in class whenever I find that there's a ballet dancer that's like, oh, it's hip hop, or vice versa, like, oh, I don't usually do soft style, I'm a hip hop dancer. I feel like, there's no real excuse, because I remember putting on those pink tights as an 18-year-old, doing ballet every single day in Edinburgh, being like, oh my gosh, this is a lot.
Yeah.
This is going to make me better.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
It was a lot.
That's a lot.
Oh my gosh. The only time I cried in full time, I cried at the end of the year, of course, from happiness and But the one time I cried from, like, just feeling so down about myself was after a ballet lesson, and no one said anything bad to me. But my friend actually found me, like, holding my feet and just being like, I wish they were just better. Like, I just want them to be better, and they hurt so much.
Yeah.
And that just taught me to fight for something where you weren't amazing at it already. And that's that's not the reason you should be working so hard at something. If you can see that something's so far away from you, but it's going to make you better, that's what you should be working towards. So ballet at the age of 18 was that for me.
Yeah.
Was a complete and absolute fight, but also learning so much about the demeanor of the style, like the discipline, how orderly everything is, like, and how set everything is. I loved it. I learned to really love that. Yeah,
there's something to be said for sticking it out.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like for the long run, for the long haul of things, and going, this might not make too much sense to me now, and it might hurt me now in the short term, but long term, you know, that whole saying of you don't have to see the whole staircase to take the first step.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
And you can sometimes go, I have this very far off goal, and then you never know what accumulation of skills are going to help you really access that. So you just sometimes got to eat everything on the platter.
Yeah, and you got to trust it as well. Like, I trusted it. I could
as hard as that is, and for some people that's hard.
Yeah.
Some people that's really hard. Some people don't have, like, some people just don't trust in themselves.
Yeah.
And or have faith in themselves, and some people don't trust or have faith in, you know, whether it be a higher power. Some people do. Yeah, it's just you just gotta. For me, the small lessons I learn along the way, those like little victories, have always sustained me.
Yeah, okay.
That's for me.
Yeah,
whereas sometimes I'm working towards a goal that's off in the distance. And I don't always go, I'm going to get there. Like, I'm kind of rarely like envisioning, manifesting, doing all that stuff.
Right.
Because I kind of don't operate that way, I guess.
Yeah.
But the little victories that I get to go, well, that's good.
Yeah.
I got that. That's worth something. And then after a while, I just eat enough of those up.
Yeah.
To then go, oh, I'm actually not too far away.
Yeah.
From this thing I wanted.
That's it.
That's kind of how I work.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of work in the way where it's like that whole experience at 18 was the testament that every time I feel like, because what that was for me was basically just putting yourself out there for something that you knew was going to help you, but you weren't afraid to be embarrassed. You weren't afraid to stand there in pink tights next to amazing, like the ballerinas that come to Edinburgh are amazing. And here I was with barely any technique. I didn't know like what a lame duck was. I didn't know words. And so I really was learning to have so much humility. Like, humility was a big word for me that year. When I knew I could do all of this stuff in hip hop with my crew, and I had these skills elsewhere, but I wasn't afraid for people to not know that, and I wasn't afraid to put myself out there. And I think that's something that I try and just acknowledge as a part of my journey. Like, I really put myself out there. Like, even with popping this year, I haven't done it as much due to an injury, but I started going to like popping jams and being mentored by people, and it's so scary. Like, it's like, especially, it's a different like setting, it's a different format to other dance styles where it's basically a circle and you just go one at a time and you just try and get better and better. And I love that way of learning. But when you feel like you have like one tool on your belt, like a strong Fresno, like it doesn't, I don't know.
Someone's like play piano and you're like G, 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 this is all I got.
Yeah. So it's learning to be okay with that, because I know if I give it time and if I'm patient with myself, that's what's going to help me. And I just trust it. I really trust. And that's something that I can see a lot in like the younger gen now as a teacher. Just like people are really scared to, I can't speak for everyone, but I've found that a lot of in the late teenage years and that age, it's really confronting, and it's hard for them to put themselves out there with things that they're not good at. And being able to do a piece of choreography where there's one move or trick that they know they're not good at, and I'm really adamant on making sure they don't shy away from it, but they actually attack it with even more zeal, because that's how you're going to get better.
I think this generation coming through, and like, not obviously neither of us are bashing the younger generation, we're not trying to do that or build a case for that. But I think we're not. But I feel like our generation had it a little bit too. This generation's got it even more, where they're more scared of shame than ever before.
Shame is a big word.
Shame is huge right now. It's because we're watching so much happen on social media, and we're giving these micro judgments. You can't help it. We're creating these micro judgments in our heads
against ourselves
and the world around us. And every time we are put in a position where we have to be vulnerable, we're scared of the shame that we've dished out coming back and hitting us. And we like resist that, hold back from it and all that.
Yeah, for sure.
All that stuff. Shame. Yeah. It's icky. Shame's like a big mechanism.
It's so hard. Yeah, it is so hard. Like I didn't have Instagram until like 19. So, you know.
I didn't have Facebook till I was 19.
I love that. It is a bit of a, not a bit, it is a real game changer in, I guess, just what a lot of young dancers are seeing are a lot of other dancers' accolades. And even with that, there's like, you know, you'll see like a 10-year-old that's super duper amazing. But for me, I was trying to talk about, but do they have like a sense of artistry? Maybe they do. Like, do they have artistic integrity? Do they have this? There's so many other tools, but because social media is so 2D and it's so exhibitionist, you're just like, wow, that's the be all and end all, you know?
Like, if I can't have that, what have I got?
Yeah.
You know?
But that's part of our job, I guess. That's really a part of our missions in our generation is to, like,
let our students know what they've got.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, what do you have?
Yeah.
If you're getting down about what other people have.
Yeah.
What have you got? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Let's tap into that. Let's explore that. Let's flare that up.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of what I'm jumping in a little bit and going, this is what I think. So
yeah. No, I love that. Yeah, tell me.
But no, that was it. That's purely it. But I want to ask you about there was so from what I've observed from your career a little bit, I remember there being this moment after Utopian Dream, where like we spent a lot of time together at Utopian Dream. Travis Ross, we spent a lot of time at Utopian Dream, and then after that, I remember like you were a beast then. That's when you like really got onto my radar. And I remember having so many moments where I looked over to Neil and I was like,
no, oh my God.
In battles, like I was just like, who?
Oh my gosh, not the battles.
And Neil looking at me going, like knowing exactly what I was going on about. Like all I did was just go, oh, like that. And he's like, I know. He's just like, and he like practically winking at me just like, And from then on, I've gotten to watch you go from where you were then, and like the straight up skill you had then, into this beast of creativity and power, and just total like you sweep people off their feet when you take the stage.
Oh my gosh!
You do. People are just you dance. I don't know if you get to, like obviously you're on stage and then you finish what you're doing and you hear the applause and cheering and that's cool. But then, dude, after you go off, people turn around and go, like, they swear to each other because they're just like, what do I do now? What do I do now that I live in a world where I've seen that? I sit there and I go, I don't even know what to do now. That's just too, like, in a way that doesn't paralyze me. I'm just like, like my first reaction is, I don't know what to do with that information now. And then later that I get to like process it and go, okay, it's inspiring, you know, and own that. And so there just seemed to be, it seemed to happen. I know it didn't. There's no way it did happen overnight, but it seemed to happen almost overnight. Has there been anything that are there any like practices that you do where you've just gone, because this was like, I think that was a journey that happened after you were done with full-time, right? Like it didn't, like full-time set you up and was really important.
Full-time gave me the tools, I think.
Exactly. And then like what you did, because I think the most important part of a dancer, when they go like, they do the full-time route of things, like go to full-time, then they get out of full-time, there's a huge bunch of people who go, I don't know what to do now. And then they just throw their hands up in the air and they go, why don't I know what to do?
Yeah.
But I feel like thing about full-time is that it gives you the tools, and then it's like, okay, now you need, after you graduate, that's when the work, like, this is the work, you know?
Yeah.
And so for you, I'm really interested in, like, what that work was for you. Whether it was, like, accidental or whether it was, like, goal-orientated or...
Gosh.
You know, if you can...
Yeah, definitely not overnight, I'll tell you that. Like, it's not
It just
even...
felt that way because it was such a...
Yeah.
It was such a leveling up experience looking from afar. I was like, whoa.
Oh,
like, you were, like, it was just this, like... You were just, like, evolving.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for all those.
No, that's all right.
Words.
It's true.
You know, I feel like we just have chapters in our book, and I think that time was like a whole like different chapter. Like the start of the chapter, the first sentence was a completely different mindset for me. And yeah, it was beyond physical. There was a lot of physical training and upskilling behind that to bring me there, but it was always driven by just trying to seek clarity in what I was doing, so that I knew I wasn't someone that left full-time. And I was lost, you know, because Sarah Bolter was, like, the people at Edinburgh were amazing at giving us guidance there, but I felt like I was just unsure. There were pathways, but I was just unsure. And looking back now, it's because deep down I knew that those pathways weren't for me. It was a lot of like mental and intuitive thinking where it was, I don't know, I guess I was just trying to straighten out what I wanted from dance and what I wanted to give dance as well, not just take from it, because I feel like, yeah, everyone leaves full-time and is like, I want a job, I want this, I want that, but I thought, okay, well, in the meantime, I'm just going to create. And it's so crazy that you mentioned Utopian, because I do remember the first day we had a freestyle circle, and I was so petrified because there were so many amazing dancers there.
Yeah,
and I remember talking to you about it as well. Talk about it. I said, like, I remember I was so young and naive, but I was like, I dance way better in my room. Why can't I freestyle in front of people? And I remember you said it was just practice. Like, you're like, I feel the same, but you just got to keep doing it until you're comfortable.
And you know what the crazy thing about that is? I'm at a stage now where I'm scared to freestyle now. Whereas back then, the point I was at then, I was quite brave because I'd done a whole bunch of freestyle within Fly Crew and all that stuff, and I was sharpening up. Like, I was getting to a point where I was starting to feel really comfortable about being out with my freestyling. But I was still so nervous in that same circle. The first freestyle I did at Utopian, it started from my hand, which wouldn't stop shaking. Like, my left hand shakes a lot when I'm nervous. Like, that's the first thing I sense. I'm like, my hand's shaking heaps. And so I started the freestyle from there, because that's how I was like, this is what I have, this is what I'm starting with. I went from there, which was also kind of a fun little task. But I remember talking to you about it and being like, well, you know, so like, being like, I'm in this zone where I feel comfy enough to give advice. Whereas now I need to go back and take my own advice again, because I'm literally in a stage where I haven't worked backwards, but if you don't keep working the muscle, it goes away. Like, it just does. And so don't think that just because you're getting good at freestyle that you're going to stay good. Just know that.
Like you said, it's a muscle.
It all comes back in. It's the muscle of, like, resisting the want to not do it. Like, that's like, that muscle is the one you have to strengthen. The muscle that says, yes, just do it, just do it, just do it, just do it. That muscle, the acceptance muscle, that improvises, like, improvise comedians and actors, of course. It's like the say yes thing. Say yes to yourself. Just say, and the better you get at that, you're going to strengthen that synapse really, really well. But then when you stop, it fades away. It gets weak. If you stop doing bicep curls, you're not going to have a big old bicep thing. It's just simple as that.
For sure.
Sorry, you were saying...
No, well, I was saying basically that time, by the end of Utopian, that was the first time I jumped into a freestyle circle in front of people that I didn't know. I've done it before. And so that was brutal. Yeah, but it, you know, it
was
took
so
me
good,
till
though.
no.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
thank
you were.
you. Can't
You were.
remember it, but
Okay.
I just remember after, like, a few people come up to me because they knew how much that meant to me. Yeah, and it's placing value on those moments and really, like, if you know you're struggling with something, back to that idea of needing humility as a dancer. If you want to push forward, you need that in that moment to, like, not care what you think people are thinking of you, which they never are. They're like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, thinking that people are judging you when they're not. And yeah, so it's, yeah, in terms of, like, you saying that I had this, like, big kind of seemed like overnight thing. I remember when I was 16, I remember being in my kitchen for an hour every single night practicing my hip hop foundations.
Yeah. Cool.
And I did not know them, like, from a bar of soap. But then one time we come in with our crew training and she was like, okay, we're not going to learn anything tonight. We're just going to do battles. And because of all that training, like, I didn't even know that's what it was going to lead to. But then I won the battle, like, out of my crew members, which was crazy because I was the youngest there and a lot of them were adults and I was just this, like, 16-year-old going, okay, I don't know how that just happened. But if you really just put your head down and work without thinking about what's going to come to you, if you just think about giving and trust that something will happen. Because I think that's what that whole time was for me. I just really loved what I was doing. Another moment I made, like, my first, like, video, my first dance video, which back then, that was like 5 years ago now, it wasn't really a thing for everyone to make videos.
Yeah.
That was now.
Yeah, no.
It was a thing, but, like, you would watch people in LA on YouTube, and then every now and then some people from here, like the teachers.
And that was the time when people put things up on, when people released a video, you would actually scope it out. Like, you would properly be like, oh, wow.
Someone's did a thing.
Like, someone did a thing.
Yeah.
Whoa, and that was, like, crazy cool.
Yeah.
Whereas now,
it's
people do videos and you're like, you have to really, like, I'm like, oh, cool, more videos. And I have to go out of my way and pick and choose exactly and go, okay, I actually want to watch that one and be like, I can maybe not watch that one. Like, just because time.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm so happy I was in that time because that made it a challenge for me to do that.
Sure.
So, yeah, putting myself out there, choreographing and doing it over and over again and then teaching and just always trying to be better. So I guess the mindset I had was just work hard without expecting things. You can't expect things because, I definitely had my fair share of moments where I did expect things, and that's where it was like a slap in the face of a realization. Was like, that's what you get. This feeling is what you get when you, like, at the end of full time, we had the audition week, the one where you go and dance in front of agents and blah blah blah, and I was so excited, so ready, so pumped, and there was even amongst that, like, outside of full time, like a hip hop audition for a thing. So I was like, oh, sweet, cool, fun. I didn't make it past the first round of any of them. I'm saying, like, 5 auditions in 2 weeks, not even past the first round in the hip hop audition. And that was really, like, right before full time ended. I was like, oh my God, like, you know, I just spent all this time, all this money, all this, like, effort.
Such a commitment.
Like, yes, such a commitment, and, like, I have nothing to show for it. And that's even, Anyway, still to this day, I haven't gotten past, like, the first round of an audition for anything. Everything has been by invitation.
Right.
So that to me is a testament to me just not fitting into any mold because I'm supposed to be an entity on my own. And that's why when I come across, like, entities in the making, I just tell them, like, stop worrying about the validation of, did you feel like you did a good audition? Like, because the fact that we hold the fate of how we feel, whether someone says yes or no to us, is so dangerous.
It's around the whole idea of getting picked.
Yeah, and it's so, like, your emotions are everywhere, rather than being like, I did great in that audition, they didn't give it to me, but I I did a good job, or I didn't do good and they gave it to me, but I know I could have done better. It's really important that you learn to validate yourself before other people do.
Yeah. Seth Godin, in his podcast Akimbo, he had this great episode maybe like last month. It's called Pick Yourself. And so rather than waiting on being picked, because that's what we do. If you're like, it's like sports at school, you know, you line up on the fence and then people pick you for like whatever, dodgeball or soccer or whatever it is. You're on my team, you're on my team. And if you pick last, you're like, you're like, you're that kid, or whatever that means, you know. But yeah, we've got this culture where we want to be picked. We want to do things so that then people pick us, and like, because we're like struggling for acceptance. But Seth Godin's like, pick yourself, which is the whole premise of, in a lot of ways, the whole premise of the Blackguard, the whole premise of this. You know, and I think you're one of the people in our industry who have done that in a way where I've been able to observe before, and then I guess the journey during. I've gone, Sela like picked herself. Because it just seemed to be...
That's what it is.
It's totally that. Because, and I think you've owned that, and I think that's where most of the transformation has come from. But then again, that transformation has probably given way for practices of other sorts to come in, and you go, okay, well, if I'm going to really lean into this and I'm going to pick myself, well, then I need to do this a whole heap more. Or I need to do, and so there's probably some things like that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the hardest part about leaning into yourself is the questioning that goes, who do I think I am to like make a concept video, like being a 19-year-old, like, who do I think I am, or I'm not good enough for this, or someone that has asked me to choreograph for this thing. I'm like, what? That's crazy. And you deal with a lot of imposter syndrome, like the more it happens.
I love imposter syndrome. It's the best. I love this concept. So for the listeners at home, if you don't know about imposter syndrome, I do believe Neil Gaiman's wife, lead singer of the Dresden Dolls, whose name is... Oh, no, I'm so sorry. This is awful, but I wish I remembered. Amanda?
Let's go with that.
Let's go with her first name's Amanda. I know that much. Lead singer of the Dresden Dolls. But yeah, she has this concept called the imposter syndrome, where as you're doing things, you feel like someone's going to kick down the door and, you know, find you out and be like, hey, you're not meant to be here, picking yourself. That's for us to do, you know, and so you're like checking, you're like watching behind your back. Ooh, it's brutal. I think I've got the book that it's from right behind me,
really
but
cool.
Keep chatting while I find it, because I have to get this right.
Oh, and you got Big Magic as well.
I got Big Magic. Whoop. So yeah, Neil Gaiman mentions it in his Make Good. Amanda Palmer. There it is.
Go.
Didn't even see it. I just had to open the book and touch it to know that it shot through me. Amanda Palmer, but it's in this book. You should read this book. Fantastic Mistakes, which is Neil Gaiman's Make Good Art speech. It's awesome. It's on YouTube as well. You can just watch it on YouTube. Awesome. It's easy. It's quick. Have you seen this before?
No.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Nice. I'll get onto that.
I think I gave this to Yukino as a present, as a Christmas present one year.
Oh, cool.
As well, because I read it and I was like, and then she had to have it.
Awesome.
That's not why she's good.
No.
But I'm just like, you're great.
Here's
a thing that'll, like, you know, stoke the fire. Even more. That's really happening. Because that's fun.
For sure.
So you were about to say
something. No, well, that's it. Actually, now that you brought her up, it's like, she is one of the people that really, like, kind of grabbed me and shook me and was like, stop questioning. What are you questioning for? You know? And I still now, like, balance that out with, like, not seeking validation from even my friends, still making sure it's led by me. But, geez, having a support network is so important. Like, and I see it, like, across the board with all of my close friends that are artists. There's definitely a through line thing between all of us that kind of keeps us tied together in terms of how similar we are with, I think, between me and my friends, it's like being an entity. So being individual and never having fitted any of the molds. Like, all of my close friends, Petu, Kino, Jeremy, we've just, like, never fitted into a mold. But anytime we've been, given an opportunity, it's because we've been sought after, because someone has wanted something so specific. And I just feel like, why the heck not? Like, I really am excited for the shift that's happening within the industry and like the things that are coming from individuals like Nevin as well. He's so specific. I always talk about him as an example.
Nevin, get the hell out, Connolly.
Yeah. And he trains so hard.
Yeah.
But he's definitely like one of a kind in how he looks, how he is, how he speaks, how he dances.
No one like him.
And he's like one of the most booked people like of our age group that's like booked for so many different things because no one else can do it like him. And I just think we're training so hard all the time to like to be as good as this or be as good as that. But like really, I think
you said it all. I was about to jump in, but then I'm like, she's got this.
No,
like,
why aren't we training to be the best version of ourselves? No one can take that away from you. And that was a big part of that time. I realized that, and I was like, okay, well, I need to work harder and I need to work more towards myself. So it's like my scope suddenly went and taking in like and acknowledging everything that's happening around me, being super aware, but I had such a clear mission. Yeah,
it's like using everything that you've already learnt in order to then make a decision to specialize almost a little bit. Not necessarily in like, I'm going to be really good at this one thing, but specializing your scope and bringing it in, as you said, but bringing it in so that then your force is like triangulated and sort of improved upon rather than just going... rather than trying to like collect the entire every experience in every job ever or whatever that means.
But that's another fluff
which is another fluff.
You should just audition for experience. Yes, in the formative years, of course, but like if people my age now are still auditioning for experience,
I think it depends. I think there's a whole bunch of people there are people who seem to be like perfect for that type of stuff. It's like you should go for a whole bunch of things because you're that kind of performer. But then there's other people that are like, it's like you're a specialist, and I think we in the teaching sphere and in full time, it probably happens in full time. I haven't done full time, so I wouldn't really know. I just hear about it. But I think we probably need more people that are really, and I don't know how you would do this, but have people who are really good at going, you're kind of that performer. And you should like know that and own that as soon as you can. And you're this kind of performer. Like I honestly think there are, it's like the whole in the acting sphere, you've got actors who, you're an actor, you could play anyone you want. You've got the makings of like complete transformative performance in you. Right? And like you're gonna win really, really shiny awards. But then you've got the other type of actor that, okay, you're going to play yourself in every role that you do, but you're going to work, you're going to get paid. And once you accept that you're that like specialist in a way,
it's almost
you'll work. It's like, do you want to be Joaquin Phoenix or do you want to be Arnold Schwarzenegger? Do you want to be Charlize Theron or do you want to be... who's struggling to find a good female example, but you know what I mean? Like, you can
finding your niche and then like wearing it as a title, like across you. Like, this is what I do. Like, I appreciate everyone else around me and what they do, but it also, for me, I've realized like, after letting go of a lot of things that I thought I was supposed to strive towards and thought I should have been, I've really like just made it a super clear like statue of who I am for people to go, okay, we want her for this. And less are people getting it twisted with like, we want you to do like this workshop. And I'm like, that's not what I'm about. And that performance is not what I'm about. And I'm not about this. Like, the louder and clearer that you're using your voice about who you are, it makes space and also like trims the fluff off of things that don't need to be there. And that's why I love what you do with Blackguard, because I remember in development I ran last year, there was a guy who was really confused about, like, we each set a personal project, and he was like, I don't know what I want to do. Like I love dancing, but even between hip hop and I do acrobatics and I do this and that, like I'm just unsure with where it fits. And I was like, perfect, do that. Now what is it? What's kind of driving you at the moment? What is driving your spirit and what's serving you? He's like, oh, like rock music. Like I love rock music. And I remember putting my notebook down and going, David Green.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the Blackguard? And he goes, no. And I was like,
mate.
If he didn't say that, if he didn't use his voice about who he really was or what really drives him, I would have never said the Blackguard. And if you had never created that space for people who have that specificity and, like you said, are a specialist in this thing, people can't want their wants if they either don't exist or don't create them. So you were the creator of it, and he wouldn't have been able to want that at all if he didn't know there was a space for it. So, thank you for doing what you do, because it's such a big testament as to everything we're talking about.
No worries. I'm just flying my own flag.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
That's it.
Just for me.
Yeah.
Just because I'm like the same concern that, David brought to you. Dave Green, who's now like a lifetime member of the Blackguard, as far as I'm concerned. A similar thing. I was looking around and everything I was seeing was really cool, but it wasn't like satisfying me. There's something else. I'm like, there's something that's like, and I was waiting. I was like, wouldn't it be cool to do this thing? And I had this deep want to be a part of someone's creation using rock music. I'm like, someone should make this thing that I really want to be a part of. And then I had to realize, oh, hang on, that's me. I have to pick myself. It's the perfect thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of becoming, you used a really great word before, not becoming an enigma, but becoming sort of, I guess, a figure,
an entity.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
An entity.
Yeah.
Was that part of the name change? To a degree, like, was that a transformative experience that you had to...
it added to it. And just to, like, not get it twisted, it's not like an artist name or a stage name or anything. It's how I'm referred to by, and it's how I've been referred to by a long time by my really close friends.
Oh, okay.
But it's just something that kind of worked from the in outwards, and it was made a bit more solid after a trip that I had to my motherland, or my dad's home country, Tonga. So Sela is the Tongan name for Sarah, and my namesake is my auntie Sela. And so I went to Tonga, and all of the kids were calling me Sela, and everyone there was calling me Sela because, that's how they know me, as the namesake. My dad said her name is Sela when I was born, and my mum was like, oh, we need to find a more Aussie name, or like a more English name. What's the English version? Sarah. And they just settled on that. But I just think, like, I don't know.
Bring it back.
Sarah is a representation of being palatable for something. So and out of respect of my own heritage and finding that more in the recent years and my connection to that, that's what Sela is. And so, it's not a stage name. It's who I am, and I'm so glad
I got to hear that story. I've wondered it because I've been like, I don't think it's a stage name. Like, I think she's legit changed her name. And I was like, I have so many questions, but I never got to be like, hey, what's the deal?
Cool,
And so glad and it's a
asking.
sick story, and it sort of brings us into what you're doing now, right? As well.
Yeah. So
wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. So as a part of that name change and that transformation, I found that I was like attracting all these opportunities that were just so completely fitting, not of me as a dancer, but of me as a person, all of my morals and values. And someone that really helped me solidify that was was a few people. There was Tiana Canterbury, Vanessa Marion, and Natasha Crane, and they really work from who they are, not what they do. Yeah. And what they do comes from that. So, yeah, a few things came about, and it's so crazy. I did this thing at the start of 2015 where after New Year's, everyone writes their resolution, blah, blah, blah. And one of my friends was like, okay, because I was feeling lost again. And mind you, I feel lost probably every 4 months or so.
Yeah.
So that is a big part of why I keep changing my chapters.
I think dissatisfaction is a huge reason we do what we do.
Yeah.
Like inner dissatisfaction, not about ourselves sometimes, but like a dissatisfaction with like, there's something I'm trying to get at and I don't know what it is. Or like, you know.
Yeah, I think it's like, when I realize I'm comfortable, I'm just like, what's next? Mm-hmm. So, at the start of 2015, like, my friend was on my back. I was driving to Canberra, so for 3 hours, he was like, you know, what do you want? What do you want to do? And then he was like, you have to summarize it in a sentence. Like, what do you want for this year? And I just said, I want to work with an Australian artist and choreograph live music performance for an Australian artist. Like, it was super specific. And I was in no way, shape, or form connected to any Australian artists, any kind of live music gigs, any kind of people that could hook me up with that. So I thought. And then by the end of that year, like, it's a bit of a long story how it happened, but basically I went to breakfast with Natasha Crane, and I was flicking through my notebook, and the notebook said Nairi, which is like a Sydney-based artist. And she stopped the page and was like, hold on a second, I know how I can get you that. Called up a childhood friend who happened to be the artist's manager. And so by December of that year, I was choreographing for this person. Anyway, come around the next year, I put in a lot more thought into it. And so 2016, I was like, okay, I really like want to be careful with what I choose, and I feel like it shouldn't be so like choreograph for this or do that. And it was, I want to work with women that empower women. I want to work with something that dignifies my Pacific Islander heritage, and I want to do something outside of dance. I want to collaborate with different things. That it was quite open-ended, but it was really specific in what I wanted for myself. And I cannot even tell you like just what I felt when 3 days later I get this email and it says Blackbirds in the subject line. And they said, hi Sela, we're Blackbirds. We're an all-female co-op, a theatre company that creates work about women of colour in Australia, and we're looking for a choreographer. And I just like, I think I was out like at a pub or something, and I was like, guys, guess what?
Sick.
So I'm now their resident choreographer, and we're going on to I've done 2 shows with them and 1 development with them. So we're reprising this show called Brown Skin Girl, which is basically a show about women of color navigating their way throughout the complexities of being a 20-something-year-old in Australia. So, a lot of our work has to do with diaspora and, like being away from something that's a part of you, and a lot about being a woman as well. So it's something that really, really fuels me, and I feel like it's just come at a perfect time for me where I was questioning what should I do, and I don't feel this, and I don't really feel like being so dancey right now. I'm starting to let go of that more and more, and being a part of this theatre company is everything I could have wanted in my journey at this point. So
whoa, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. So we have a show.
Plug it.
Our show's happening from January 29th to February 9th at the Old Fitz Theatre.
Oh, the Old Fitz.
Yeah.
God, the Old Fitz.
So there's shows happening for like 2 weeks straight or something. So we've made tickets like really affordable and accessible, but there also might be a community night if it is out of reach for some people. But yeah, that'll be on next year, 2019.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, then everyone watching and listening has to go to that.
Yeah.
That's the thing, especially if you want to check out Sela Vai's absolute talent with creating things. We're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
I think it's a good time. It does.
Yeah.
It does. Steve and I went for ages, and we were like, oh, you know,
yeah.
Oh crap, we're gonna bring it in.
Yeah.
But we're gonna finish off with a bit of a quick questionnaire, like rapid fire questions, but not too much pressure as well.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
This is a questionnaire taken from Bernard Pivot, who had a talk show. They also use this questionnaire at the end of Inside the Actors Studio, but I've sort of tweaked it a little bit to make it a bit more closer to me. And
yeah. Awesome.
So, Sela Vai, what is your favourite word?
Donut.
Great.
Do I have to explain? Or
no, not necessarily. If that is, yeah, donut. Cool, great, love it.
Yeah.
What is your least favourite word? And you can think about these, by the way. What is your least favourite word?
Oh, conforming.
Ooh.
Yeah, just because of everything we just talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Turns me on? Oh my gosh. Nature, this wind, good music with good lyrics. Yeah. What else turns me on? Yeah. I don't know. Being around good energies. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. What turns you off?
Bad music with bad lyrics that just rhyme the same words together. Lowrider. No, I don't want to name names.
Shade.
But
you just did though.
Look out.
Yeah.
No.
Watch out, Flowrider.
Bad music, and yeah, it's just pretty much the opposite. And bad energies. People, maybe if you're in a creative process, people that aren't so seemingly patient and just like
blockers.
Blockers. Ooh.
Dirty blockers.
Yeah, and energy vampires. People that take your energy just from you.
Vampire.
That turns me off. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Energy vampires suck, literally.
Yeah.
What frustrates you, and what do you do to move past your frustration?
Myself. So I find that I have like a lot of noise up here sometimes. And it's also acknowledging that nothing can frustrate you unless you let it. So it's starting from here, and if I'm getting impatient with people, it's because of my impatience and lack of patience, not because of the people. So yeah, always bringing it back to self.
Cool. What sound or noise do you love?
Babies laughing.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Parramatta Road, out the front of my house. Yeah.
It's just that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate it, but it's a lot.
Right. Yeah, sure. First thing in the morning. Oof. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I would love to, a profession. Yeah, social work. Being a social worker for a year, maybe taking a break off dance or something. Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. What profession would you definitely not like to do?
Being a car park ticket guy.
Bird feeder. No, go.
No, a car park ticketer person.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, I just feel bad for them. Like, they got to do it, but they probably receive, like, so much.
Like a ranger who gives parking tickets.
Yeah, a ranger. Parking ranger.
Parking ranger, yeah.
Jeez, and they're just wearing, like, high vis as well, so they're literally targets. But,
heaviest question, when you die, what do you hope people will say about you after you're gone?
Oh my God, that's heavy. I don't know if I should think or just fire away.
Being thoughtful on this one's pretty cool. Then you get to really mean your answer.
Yeah. Other than donut.
You can edit that if you want.
Yeah, no, I love it. I'm going to keep it.
Yeah, good. That's a good word.
She made me want to be myself more.
Oof. That's really good.
Yeah. That's how I feel.
That's awesome. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
That's all she wrote.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed it. Question of the day in the video, like, if you enjoyed this, hey, let me know who I should interview next. Who do you want to see interviewed? That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of doing it like, I want to do it, like boy girl in theory.
Yeah.
And like keeping it as balanced as I can. But also I'm thinking there's a trend, because in Steve's episode we talked a lot about you.
Oh.
As well. Like we had like a good chunk of it where we were talking about you.
Oh, Steve.
And so maybe I might like try and use the people we're talking about to like hop across the journey.
Yeah. I talked about Sarah Bolter a lot.
That's
and
right,
Neil.
you did too. You did talk about Neil.
Yeah, Neil.
It's probably going to be Neil. I've been trying to get him in for a while, but he's so busy.
Yeah.
Anyway, signing off. See you later. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe and all that.